What's going on, team? Welcome back to the channel, and today I got a really exciting topic for you guys, and that will be how to build your watch list. So we're going to go over how to build your watch list. I get asked about all the time, Antonio, that I post my daily watch list in our Discord every single day. I ask all the time, how do you find the stocks? Where do you pick the stocks? Why do you pick them? Why do you put those price levels? And how do you build your watch list? So in this video, we're going to be walking over the steps I take to build my watch list and why I post it and the things I look for. If you find this video helpful or any other educational videos, make sure to leave a like, comment down below, and let me know what you guys want to see next. If you join a community of traders, make sure to join our Discord community, link in the bio. Or if you want to learn more about the stock market, we also have a beginner course that you can check out with 8+ hours of content. So when you're first building a watch list, you gotta start thinking about, are you trading penny stocks or are you gonna trade large caps? What kind of stocks are you trading? So on our focus is usually tends to be in penny stock or options trading large caps. So there's penny stocks is actually quite simple. We want to look for the stocks that are running for the day. If you guys have not watched my other video, how to set up your scanner, the scanner pretty much, I set up my scanner. I wake up in the morning. Have the scanner do its thing on Thinkorswim. You can use different, I personally use Thinkorswim, but you can set up the same scanner with Finviz or any other program that lets you set up scanners and filters. And you literally just look up from top to the bottom of the scanner, and I filter by volume. So whichever has the highest relative volume, it's what I'm going to be looking at first, and look for setups that way. And I stick to a couple handful stocks in that way. So setting up a stock for penny stock runners, morning gappers is actually really easy. You just have the scanner do the work for you. You wake up in the morning. There's no preparation needed. Now, when I trade options, is actually a little bit different. So I actually have an X amount of stocks that I look at. So it's around 50-ish that I look at between blue chip stock, travel, banks, all that kind of stuff. I'll post some screenshots on some stocks that I constantly look at. But I start actually the day before or the morning before, depending on what we're doing in the night. In this case, I usually tend to look at, I go on one of my favorite websites to charts. It's tradingview.com. So tradingview.com is free. They have a pro version. So but it's free and it's accessible to anybody. So I actually start off straight away by actually just looking at the charts. So I start off looking at the daily chart. I think I already have some charted out here, but on the 1 hour. But I actually start off on the daily chart. And why I look at the daily chart is actually quite simple. The main reason why I start off looking at daily chart because I want to get an idea of what's the market gonna look like tomorrow, right? I'm very heavy on trading a lot of tech stocks just because when you're trading options, they're really high implied availability. They move a lot and the spreads are usually really small, so you can trade options really easily with them. You can see I already have some patterns drawn out. For example, on the daily chart, I had realized that QQ was trading this pattern, so I recognize the rising wedge pattern, so I kind of anticipated that we might see the pullback, which we ended up seeing. Then you see this couple handle formation now, and so I can expect, hey, tomorrow or within this week, this might set up, and that's how I kind of build my watch list based off of that, kind of getting a market idea on what's gonna happen. So you guys can see right now, we had this rising wedge, over the past couple months or so. Now we had this cup and handle formation. We actually broke this the handle, but we did double top here on the daily time frame. We had one top here and then the second top here, so we actually have a pretty strong resistance around this level, but we still also have some support around here, which was this previous resistance from the cup, right? So I look on the daily now to get a better idea and confirm my positions or my thesis. I actually move on and I go on the 1 hour time frame. So the reason I go from the day from the daily to the 1 hour is because obviously I'm looking for today trade tomorrow, so a daily is not going to be too helpful when I'm trying to get a picture idea for exactly tomorrow or the rest of the week. The daily is a little more of a longer time frame, so the 1 hour will help me more expecting what's going to happen tomorrow and the next day. So okay, now we see that we had this double top over the day. So with this double top, what confirms for us is that this is going to be more than likely it's going to be a resistance level, right? So right around this level right here. So now I can tell that by looking at in my chart, and I can write down, I can write down in my notes for the next day that, hey, I have this real strong resistance 342, and I have this support right here around 338. Also, we have the support is by the previous handle formation, so we can come down here to test it to then bounce on it. We also have a strong support line, which is the 50 EMA, and that's we've been bouncing on. So I know that tomorrow two of the levels I'm gonna write when looking at triple Q, and I'm gonna chart in my Thinkorswim system when I need to look at the triple Q will be between 338 and 342. These are levels that we're expecting to. Hey, 338 is gonna be strong support. 342 is gonna be strong resistance. We break one of those. We look to play puts, look to play calls. And obviously this is just an overall idea. This is an idea that I'm going to plan out pre-market and then look at it during the day to help me navigate the day. So that's all it is that I'm doing. I'm just looking for stocks and looking for levels that are going to help me navigate the next day. I'm doing the work now rather than worrying about tomorrow. Tomorrow I can just focus on the price action, the intraday, as I already know I already know the important and the major support and resistance line from a previous level. That was the triple Q. Obviously, the other one I like to look at is the SPY, of course. So the SPY, on the 1 hour, let's go back to the 1 day so we can get a clear idea what's going to happen. So the SPY. What I'm going to be looking at is that for tomorrow is that obviously, we had this strong resistance at this level. If you zoom in a little more on the daily, if you look, we hit 1, 2, 3, 4 times this 418.25 level quite often. And we've also during this week we've held right about this 415 level has been quite strong. 416.5 as well. It's been quite strong, so I'm gonna plot it out on a daily. There's no major patterns that I see on the SPY on this larger time frame. Like in the QQ I saw that the cup and handle and the double top formation. I guess you call this a double top right here, all around the 418s. But it's actually been hit 3 or 4 times, so I'm just gonna call that a strong resistance. Now I'm gonna go on the 1 hour, confirm my levels, as you can see. So now we're in the 1 hour to confirm those levels, and as you guys can see, those levels on the 1 hour will be well respected. As we've hit this resistance plenty of times, bounce on support here, and now I look for other major support and resistance level. Another one that I'm gonna be plotting out, it's gonna be the 415 or so level right around right here. It's gonna be another level that I'm gonna be looking for bounces and things like that. The 50 MA of course is a indicator that we use as it's respected. And lastly, you can add the 410. It's gonna be highly doubtable that we ever test the 410 in the next day, but you can right around here 410.5 or so, you can plot it out as well. So I try to keep them a little loose. I don't try to put too many support resistance line, because at that point you're gonna overcrowd it for the next day. So I'm gonna plot them out like this and just pretty much pay attention to the most important ones that are gonna be most likely be tested the next day, which are gonna be this 418.25 and this 416.5. Those are the main ones I'm gonna look at. So then another thing I like to go to is, after I'm done looking at the main triple Q SPY, then I'll go to another website called Bazinga. It's Bazinga Pro. What I'm using is I can look at whatever the hottest news are. I can also use a screener. I can use a scanner. I can see the top movers. I can build a watch list. So this is another great platform I like to use. I like to use a lot to look at what stocks I'm looking at for the next day. So you gotta mess with it. The news feed is the one I look at for the most in the aftermarket hours. It is paid, so another one that you can use that we spoke to about all the time is FameViz. FameViz is another one you can look at if you want to look at just headlines and things like that, top gainers, unusual volume, earnings, things like that. If you don't want to pay for the Bazinga Pro, I really like Bazinga Pro, but FameViz is another great one that you can use for free. And there's other ones like Market Watch, Yahoo Finance, and things like that. But anyway, we know that I will look for some hot stocks to look at tomorrow. What stocks might have big moves or news that are gonna help them move. And one of those, for example, will be AMD. AMD had earnings, beat earnings, crushed the earnings. We actually took a swing position today on AMD, and AMD is it's obviously my swing position is gonna be benefiting as it had major news. It had beat earnings, so it kind of gapped up pretty strong. And actually, if you go to AMD is a stock that I've traded many times. I actually have already some stuff traded out, which sometimes helps. Which is really funny, because if you look at, we're on a daily time frame. Actually, this resistance level here, I actually had drawn, which was a previous support. I drawn this out about a couple months ago, and if you guys can see here, we got we got a rejection on today on a previous resistance level that had run out. So on trading me, I like to keep a lot of drawings and the support resistance around the long terms, because you see things like this, I kind of already did some of my work for myself, as I understand that this 87.25 is going to be a strong resistance level. So when for the next day, I can already put in, hey, I already understand it's 87.25. I understand that previously I was trading in this downtrending pattern. This level here, 74, and 74.75 was a strong support, which is bounced on many times on a gap fill. So I can already just head in on the 1 hour, since I already kind of done some of my work for me. So we go in and we see on the 1 hour a little better picture of what's going on. So we have this strong level that we just mentioned, and in the aftermarket we were able to break through it thanks to the news. So now I know we got a breakout of a previous resistance, 87, and 87.21 is my resistance when my new support. I'm looking for a bounce to take another trade on, so I'm gonna put that in my watch list, right? Another level that you can put is also going to be this 83.72. Another level I'm going to put is also going to be this 83.72 level here, for in case we go down from it once yet. So now I'm looking for a bounce from, I'm looking for some retracement back to the support or previous resistance turn to support for a next bounce up. So I'm going to put this up in my watch list, AMD, with these important price levels. And it's literally all I look at, and I look for potentially a next resistance zone. So this one all the way up here, 94.39, is gonna be for a larger time frame. It's definitely not gonna happen within tomorrow, but 89.6 it's more than likely to happen. 89 is obviously a strong mental level because it's so close to 90, 89.5. So that I'm gonna have that as my resistance, so I can put it tomorrow into my charts right at the market open. I can put the major stuff right before the pre-market, before trading it. So now I'm looking for a bounce here. If I don't get a bounce on 87.32, we can short to the next support, which will be 83.5 or so. Or if we do get a bounce on it, my profit target will be around the 90s. And of course, adjust them during the day, during the 5-minute and the 1-minute chart as we move on. But now it's something that I'm gonna go put in my notepad in the morning, pre-market, adjust a little bit in case there was any sudden movement and things like that, and take it from there. Add it to my watch list, post it in the Discord community so everybody knows about it. So now we can look at Microsoft. Microsoft, another stock that had earnings. And earnings, they were good, actually beat earning expectation, but the stock still tanked. Right, so actually on Microsoft, as you can see, it's another stock that I trade all the time, and I was actually in a short position. I mentioned a few weeks back that I had, reading the charts, understanding the chart, I realized it was trading in this range, and we were much on the resistance level, and we had a really hard time breaking it. So I was expecting a pullback. So I was actually in 255 puts from a few days ago, which they were down a little bit, but I stuck to my plan, and we never broke the resistance, and now they're down, they're pretty much in the money and up a good amount tomorrow in the morning. So we're on the 1 hour. Let's switch over to the daily real quick so we can understand any other levels. So right away I can kind of tell I had this previous, that's why it's so important. That's why I like trading some of the same stocks again. When I'm trading options, I stick to stocks that work for me, because look, I already have this channel, the stock's been trading this channel, and it's quite obvious, right? So one of the things I can kind of tell is that there might be a rising wedge here. So on this daily, we actually won't see the aftermarket. On the daily, we don't have the aftermarket, but you can see a rising wedge formation here, building up around this corner up here, this upper resistance, just because we keep getting this pushing up with the support but not being able to break the resistance, which is going to cause usually this is going to be a better pattern, which will cause a fall through. So I understand that on this daily will be 260 will be a strong level to look at on the daily, because that might cause the rising horizontal line, the rising wedge to build. So I'm gonna have that. I see this potential rising wedge, set up the pattern, move on to the daily, down to the 1 hour to confirm my levels, and look what do we get here, right? So those levels in the post market, you know, these levels were holding, and they finally fell through. So this rising wedge that I had run out fell through. So now that I'm gonna be looking at, I'm already technical inputs, but you know, I will be looking at maybe potentially dip buy, or maybe if it falls more, to make it fall more. And I can see here there's a gap here to fill that we bounced on around right here, 251, 252. So I'll be looking at a potential bounce here, which you kind of have been getting in the aftermarket. So I'll be looking at a bounce on 251.9, 250. If we fall through the support, to short to the next support, which will be around 247 on the 1 hour time frame. And so we draw that like that. So these will be my important levels I'm going to be looking at. 260 will be a price target if we do bounce those 251. Maybe intraday take profits of 255 first. But if we do fall through 251, then you know, have a price target of 247. So I'll write this support, the strong support resistance level. I'm going to write them and put them in my watch list. Take my watch list and use it as a guidance tomorrow. Put it in my Thinkorswim trading platform. I like to use TradingView in the after hours or the pre-market to look at the charts a little better. I just think they have a really good charting system, but I use TOS just because Thinkorswim, just because it's my broker of choice. So I'm gonna take these levels. I'm gonna put them in my notes when I go in my Thinkorswim, add them, plot them out real quick, and have done a lot of work that I don't have to waste my time during the day in aftermarkets or the pre-market. So these, I'll simply build my watch list, and I'll see you guys all in the next one. Peace.